Have you ever wondered why some relationships leave, you feeling respected and cherished, while others seem to drain your confidence? What if I told you that the answer lies not just in your actions, but in understanding subtle behaviors? Today, we'll uncover 4 hidden behaviors women show when they don't respect you, all through the timeless wisdom of Marcus Aurelius and Stoic principles. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and like this video. Trust me, watching until the end might just change the way you approach your love life. Forever you're in a relationship, or maybe just starting to date someone. Everything seems fine on the surface, but deep down you feel a subtle imbalance. Her words don't match her actions, and there's this nagging sense that something is off. It's easy to dismiss it. Maybe you think you're overreacting or that things will smooth out with time. But Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, teaches us that clarity and self-awareness are the foundations of any meaningful relationship. By observing her behaviors closely, you can determine whether respect is missing and, more importantly, how to handle it with grace and wisdom. Let's explore these hidden behaviors one by one and tie them back to Stoic philosophy. Expanded point 1. Dismissive communication. Let me ask you this: have you ever been in a conversation with someone you care about, where you're pouring your heart out, only to realize they aren't really listening? Maybe they're scrolling through their phone, nodding absent-mindedly, or worse, interrupting you with something unrelated. How did that make you feel? If you've been there, you're not alone. And this isn't just about random interactions. It hurts even more when it's from someone you love. You might find yourself questioning, am I not worth their attention? Or why does this keep happening? Now, let's think about what Marcus Aurelius might say if he were your modern-day relationship coach. He'd remind you that self-control and perspective are key. He once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." This means that while you can't force someone to listen, you can control how you respond and what you tolerate. Here's a relatable story for you. Imagine you're sharing a heartfelt moment with your partner. You're excited, maybe a little vulnerable, and you look up to see them scrolling through Instagram. You pause, hoping they'll notice. But instead of an apology, they casually say, "Sorry? What were you saying?" You feel a pang of disappointment, right? In moments like this, it's easy to brush it off. Tell yourself it's not a big deal. But here's the thing, these small dismissive acts can build up over time. They're like cracks in the foundation of a house. Alone, they might seem insignificant, but left unchecked, they can weaken the entire structure. The Stoic approach teaches us to address these moments head on. Once you have your answer, communicate it. Say something like, "I noticed you were distracted earlier. I'd really like to share this with you because it's important to me." The way they respond will reveal a lot. If they genuinely apologize and refocus their attention, that's a good sign. It shows they respect you and value the relationship. But if they brush it off or get defensive, it might indicate a deeper issue. Now, I want you to reflect for a moment. Have you ever been on the other side of this? Maybe a loved one was talking to you and you weren't fully present. Relationships are a two-way street. Respect is mutual, and attentiveness is one of the simplest ways to show it. If you've been feeling dismissed lately, don't let this story discourage you. Instead, see it as an opportunity to grow both individually and in your relationship. Because when you speak up and set the standard for how you want to be treated, you're not just protecting your peace. You're giving your partner a chance to meet you at your level. Stick with me here, this story isn't over yet. We're just getting to the good part. Let's talk about the second behavior. That might be a clue she's not respecting you. Disregarding your boundaries. 2. Disregard for your boundaries. Alright, let's dive into something crucial. Boundaries. Let me ask you, have you ever felt like someone you care about pushed you to do something that made you uncomfortable? Maybe it was something small, like teasing you about a sensitive topic, or something bigger, like dismissing your personal values. If this has happened to you, how did you respond? Did you speak up? Or did you stay silent, hoping it wouldn't happen again? Let me share a story that might resonate. There was a guy, we'll call him Alex. Alex had been dating his girlfriend, Lisa, for a while. Early on, they were deeply connected. But as time went on, Lisa started joking about Alex's career ambitions, calling them unrealistic. At first, Alex laughed it off, telling himself she didn't mean any harm. But over time, the jokes became sharper, and he started feeling small whenever he talked about his goals. One night, at a party, Lisa made a comment in front of their friends. Alex thinks he's going to run his own business someday. Isn't that cute? Everyone laughed. Alex forced a smile, but inside he was crushed. Here's the thing, Lisa had crossed a boundary, one Alex hadn't even realized he needed to set. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Alex couldn't control Lisa's words, but he could control how he responded. If you've ever been in Alex's shoes, let me tell you, it's not just about the moment. It's about the pattern. Disregarding boundaries is one of the clearest signs of a lack of respect. And if it's not addressed, it can lead to resentment and self-doubt. So how do you handle this? First, you need to define your boundaries. Ask yourself, what are my non-negotiables? What behaviors make me feel valued and which ones don't? Once you've identified them, communicate them clearly. Here's an example of what Alex could have said to Lisa after the party. When you joked about my career in front of our friends, it made me feel disrespected. I need you to support my goals, even if you don't always understand them. The way someone reacts to a boundary speaks volumes. If they apologize and make an effort to change, that's a sign they care. But if they dismiss your feelings or continue crossing the line, it might be time to reevaluate the relationship. Now, let's flip the script for a moment. Have you ever been on the other side of this? Maybe someone you love set a boundary and you unintentionally crossed it. How did you handle it? Respect is a two-way street, and acknowledging mistakes is a powerful way to rebuild trust. As we move forward, think about your own relationships. Are there boundaries you need to set or reset? Remember, setting boundaries isn't about being controlling or difficult. It's about protecting your peace and ensuring mutual respect. And don't go anywhere, because the next behavior we'll uncover is one of the most damaging, and you won't want to miss it. 3. Public disparagement. Let me ask you this. Have you ever been out with your partner, maybe at a dinner with friends, or a family gathering, when suddenly they make a joke or a comment about you that stings? They might laugh it off, saying, "Oh, I was just kidding." But deep down, you know it wasn't just a joke. How did that make you feel? If you've experienced this, you're not alone. This behavior, public disparagement, can chip away at your self-worth. It might seem harmless at first, but over time, it can create a rift between you and your partner. Let me share a story that might resonate with you. Imagine a guy named David. David was in a long-term relationship with someone he adored. Emily, they were the kind of couple everyone thought was perfect. But there was a pattern that David noticed but couldn't quite name. Whenever they were around others, Emily would make comments like, "David's so forgetful. He'd lose his head if it wasn't attached." Or, "You should have seen him trying to fix the sink, total disaster." Everyone would laugh and David would smile awkwardly. At first, David told himself it was harmless. But over time, he realized something. Emily rarely spoke positively about him in public. Her jokes always seemed to highlight his flaws, and that started to hurt. Marcus Aurelius has a lesson here for David and for all of us. He wrote, "Don't waste the rest of your time here worrying about other people, unless it affects the common good. It will keep you from doing anything useful." In modern terms, this means you can't control what someone says about you, but you can control how you let it affect you and how you respond. If you've ever been in David's shoes, you might be wondering, what should I do? First, take a moment to reflect. Ask yourself, is this a one-time thing or is it a pattern? Is my partner aware of how their words make me feel? Once you've reflected, it's time to have an honest conversation. Here's what David could have said to Emily. "When you joke about me in front of others, it makes me feel small. I'd like us to build each other up, especially when we're with friends and family." The way Emily responds will tell David a lot. If she values him and respects the relationship, She acknowledges feelings and make an effort to change. But if she brushes it off or gets defensive, it might be a sign of deeper issues. Now, let me ask you, have you ever been on the other side of this? Maybe you made a joke about your partner without realizing it hurt them. How did they react? Relationships are a two-way street, and we all have moments when we could do better. If public disparagement is something you're dealing with, remember this: you deserve a partner who lifts you up, not one who tears you down. And if you're the one who needs to make a change, it's never too late to start. Stay with me, because the next behavior is one of the most damaging, and it's all about emotional manipulation. Let's dive into that. 4. Emotional manipulation. Let's talk about something tricky but important: emotional manipulation. Have you ever felt like your partner was using guilt, blame, or the silent treatment to get what they want? Maybe you didn't notice it at first, but over time, you started feeling like you were walking on eggshells. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. Emotional manipulation can be one of the hardest behaviors to spot, especially in a relationship. Here's a story to illustrate. Meet Ryan. Ryan was dating someone he thought was perfect. Sarah, she was charming, funny, and seemed to care deeply about him. But there were moments that left Ryan confused. Whenever Ryan wanted to spend time with his friends, Sarah would say things like, "I guess I'll just be alone again while you're out having fun." If Ryan forgot to text her back immediately, she'd go silent for hours, leaving him worried. And when they argued, Sarah often turned the tables, saying things like, "I wouldn't act this way if you didn't make me feel so insecure." Ryan started questioning himself. Am I the problem? Am I not doing enough? Marcus Aurelius' wisdom is crucial here. He wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." In other words, our mental state is shaped by what we focus on. Ryan was letting Sarah's manipulation define his thoughts and emotions. If you're in Ryan's position, the first step is awareness. Emotional manipulation thrives in the shadows, so shining a light on it is essential. Ask yourself, do I often feel guilty in this relationship, even when I've done nothing wrong? Am I constantly apologizing just to keep the peace? Once you've identified the pattern, it's time to set boundaries. Here's how Ryan could address Sarah. When you use guilt or silence, it makes me feel like I'm being punished. I want us to communicate openly and honestly without games. The way Sarah responds will reveal a lot. A loving partner will listen and make an effort to change. But if they deny, deflect, or escalate the behavior, it's a sign that the relationship might not be healthy. Let me ask you this: have you ever caught yourself using guilt or silence in a relationship? Maybe it wasn't intentional, but it happened in the heat of the moment. Relationships require both partners to reflect and grow. If emotional manipulation is part of your story, remember this: you deserve a relationship built on trust and honesty, not control. And if you've made mistakes, it's never too late to learn and do better. We're almost at the end. But don't go anywhere just yet. Let's wrap this up with a powerful reminder about respect and self-worth. Stick with me. Understanding these behaviors isn't just about identifying a lack of respect. It's about embracing your worth and embodying Stoic principles in relationships. Marcus Aurelius would remind us to focus on what we can control: our actions, our responses, and our standards. If you encounter these behaviors, don't see them as failures, but as opportunities for growth. Use them to clarify what you deserve and what you won't tolerate. Remember, respect starts with you. When you respect yourself, others are more likely to follow suit. With that said, thank you for watching. If you found value in this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need this wisdom. Until next time.